Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is, of course, your broadcaster, HD StarCraft, and I'm here for Game 2 between Dragon and Whitera. Up at the top left-hand corner of the map, that is going to be the red Terran player, and over in the bottom right-hand corner, the latter, that is, of course, the blue Protoss. And I cannot wait to see what happens in this second game. This is Akalon Wastes, and I actually feel like this is the most balanced map. I know it's weird, right? It's a 1v1 map, not a 4-player map, but I feel like it is the most coolest, most balanced, and interesting map here in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. It almost kind of reminds me of the awesomeness of Blistering Sands. Do you guys remember that map? Blistering Sands, that map was awesome. Same tile set, and it was a 1v1 map as well, but much, much smaller. This obviously taking it to a whole nother level, kind of giving you lots of options, tons of expansions, lots of rocks as well. So we'll see what happens here in a Protoss versus Terran. I'm not too sure how things are going to play out. Obviously, as Protoss, you now have many toys. You can go Oracle, which we don't see too much here with Whitera, but you can go Oracle. You can go Tempest, which we do see a lot when Whitera wants to in the late game. They are so good against Terran mech, and that is the reason why I feel like now, as Terran, without, you know, the Imba unit, the Warhound, it's actually better as a Terran player here for Dragon to just go ahead and play Bio. We saw him last game try to do a Marine all-in, and then when he found out, hey, that didn't work out too well, I'm just going to try to gas up and get Stim and Concussor Shells and Combat Shields, but then he attacked before his Stim was done. So that was really, really not good for Dragon. Of course, very impressive micro by Whitera. He was able to kill him with a Mothership Core. That's really kind of what won him the game there, and it was brilliant. You know, before Mothership Core even came out, Protoss had no way of harassing a Terran player's economy the way that Whitera did. So that was amazing here from Whitera. And once again, he sees, hey, Dragon's not walling off the front door. Supply depot in a random position in the middle, and barracks in the random position in the middle. Now the Taser probe is in, and we'll see if he'll be able to get an SCV kill here. No, not with two SCVs drilling that probe down, and Whitera will have to back out. But he does see that the Terran player did not wall in the front door, so now he can be aggressive. We might see another Zealot Stalker Mothership Core attack. That probe, oh my god, it is going to get the SCV, and it will die as well. But hey, anytime you can get your scouting worker to kill off a mining worker, oh, that's so worth it, because the scouting worker, it's fate, it's destiny, is to die regardless. So if you can get it off an SCV right there, that is absolutely fantastic. We can see already the edge in this game going for Whitera, who is going to look to maybe capture an expansion pretty soon here, but I feel like he can definitely be aggressive, and that is what Whitera's going to do. He's making a Stalker first, not a Zealot. So instead of going for Zealot, he's going to go for an aggressive Stalker. Now, I think the reason for that is because against a Terran player who already has a barracks down, yeah, the Zealot is good against Marines in small numbers, but the Stalker is actually better because in small numbers that has more range than a Marine does, and you can take out those Marines very easily. Now, against a Terran who goes CC first, yeah, you can make Zealots and be aggressive, and it's usually better because he was not going to have Marines, period, so the Zealot is a much better killer of workers. But in this situation, I think if Whitera is going to be aggressive, yeah, the Stalker is going to be absolutely beautiful. And is he going to make a Mothership Core to back up this this Stalker, or is he just going to use his Stalker as a scout? You know, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit here because I just want to see Whitera do what he does best, and that's his special tactics. But you never know. It looks like this Stalker probably going to be shut down, though. That's 4 Marines there. And, you know, Dragon's not going to fall for the same thing again. He's going to play super tight here, defend it up, get a bunker, good positioning on the Marines, and that is pretty much going to shut down any type of aggressive play that Whitera was hoping to achieve on the ground. But what about the air? Do we have a Mothership Core on the way? Whitera right now trying to research the Warp Gate upgrade. He doesn't have a Mothership Core queued up yet on the Nexus. Meanwhile, back in Dragon's main base, what has Dragon got planning? It looks like he's got 1, 2, 3 barracks here, and he's making a tech lab on the middle center racks, and it looks like he's going to stick with Bio here. So we are actually not going to see Dragon play the mech, and that's what he did last game. Like I said before, I don't feel like mech is that great against Protoss. It's good, don't get me wrong, you know, Widowmine, Hellbat, Siege Tank, it's great, but I feel like Tempests do dominate that, and Templar Archons do dominate that as well. So I feel like, you know, going Bio is the best strategy currently available to Terran in Heart of the Swarm. So he is going to start to get the stim pack upgrade, not going to try to fall behind in the gas and in the technology like he did last time. Now with the assistance of the Mothership Core, those rocks will surely perish after some time. Those rocks are still pretty beefy, so it's going to take some time. Whitera now making a sentry out in the middle of the field as well. You'll note that his army is actually pretty sparse right now. Reason being that he is rushing the Twilight Council. My god, that's a quick Twilight Council. And a very quick Templar Archives on the way as well. And you know what? If Dragon were to attack with just purely Marines right now, I feel like he could just do so much damage against Whitera, who is greedily rushing the Templar, and the scan comes down. So does Dragon see the Templar Archives? He does, he sees the Templar. And now, there's really only a couple things that the Protoss could be doing. He could be going for a charge shot Archon, 2-base timing, or 2-base all-in, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much an all-in, with Storm, that's pretty much all that Whitera can really be doing right now. You know, a big 2-base push with charge lots and Archons and Storm, and that, with Dragon seeing that right now, he knows, okay, you rushed up the tech, that means you have no gateway units on the ground. I can push with these Marines, which are about to finish Stimpak, and let's see what you're gonna do about that. And you know, Whitera is actually in a lot of trouble here. His Storm won't be done for another minute, and Stimpak is going to finish in about 40 or so seconds. I really think that Whitera is in so much trouble right now, but Dragon, will he push? Oh yeah, he will. That's a lot of Marine firepower. And right now, you know, Whitera only has 3 warp gates. He needs to warp out Zealous so immediately. It looks like a photon cannon is going to come down. I don't know why Dragon's going down to the 3rd to check. I guess he was hoping to pick off a Nexus, but there's no Nexus there. And I feel like Dragon's hesitation here to be aggressive, to go for the blood, is going to cost him very dearly, because Whitera is starting to make units on the field right now. That Marine's body to corpse just exploding and flying down the ramp. And now Whitera, I think, with the photon cannon and the stalkers. Oh, but the Marine's getting stimmed! But the Mothership Core drops the photon overcharge ability. So yeah, these Marines just really, I feel like they were a little hesitant. And it ended up costing them, because I'm sure that if Dragon wanted to, he could have ran in there and did so much damage. He could have actually just ran behind this Nexus and started focusing down probes. I really think he could have done that. But, you know, he was being very hesitant here at the center, and Whitera was allowed enough time to get units on the field. And even though Whitera rushed greedily for Templars, he has suffered no punishment as a result. In fact, if anything, Whitera is looking better and better than ever. He does, he has, you know, one thing that he's going to worry about is that there are ghosts on the way. And Dragon, you know, smartly saying, all right, well, if you've got Templar, then I'm going to go for ghosts and try to combat you with the proper, you know, tech support that I need. It looks like the rocks are going to go down here, so that is going to shut down any potential here for Dragon to come through on the ground and harass that 3rd Nexus. And, you know, things kind of settling down, because Whitera he's not going to attack at this point. You know, he knows that he held off the early Marine aggression from Dragon, and now if he just goes for the 3rd Nexus and plays it safe, then things should be pretty good for him, even though he rushed that Templar tech very quickly. And he's adding on more gateways. He's trying to get the armor upgrade, which is so good. It's actually the best upgrade for Protoss against Terran. Much better than weapons. Reason being is because Marines all do little burst amount of damage, little pick-pock shots, and armor is very effective against that, along with Guardian Shield. So that is one reason why Whitera really wants to make sure he gets a double forge and gets those upgrades churning. And at this moment in time has just so many Templar. I'm looking at the units tab right now, 6 Templar on the field. Upgrades right now, you can see that the only weapons upgrade actually belongs to Whitera, but he is about to get the +1 armor as well. Same for the Terran player, he's getting 1-1. Or is that just 1 weapons? It's hard to say. I think he just got 1 armor right there. So yeah, the upgrades are pretty close right now, and neither side actually being too aggressive after that opening a shot. Dragon just starting to set up his infrastructure so he can get some ghosts and some medevacs out to support his bio army. And at this moment, it's looking like it's comprised of Marines, Marauders, some ghosts, potentially some Hellbats if he so chooses to get that upgrade. And surprisingly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but actually Dragon is ahead in supply right now, 120 over 110. So Whitera maybe falling a bit in the macro right there. Not too sure why. I think maybe the 3rd Nexus was just a little bit later, but nothing to be too concerned about. Things are pretty calm at this moment in time. It's like the calm before the epic storm. And we'll see when things start to break loose here. Whitera is gearing up to go for the 4th Nexus. Just adding on gateways galore. He's got at least 10 gateways at this moment in time. 8, 9, and I believe that would be the 10th one. Nope. So it looks like he's got about 9 gates plus Robo, and it's going to make a transition into Colossus. That's very smart. Anytime you're Protoss against Terran, you know, jot this down. If you play against them and you just switch between Templar tech and Colossus tech, it just really bugs the hell out of Terran players, because then they're forced to switch between Ghost and Viking tech, and neither of those units really come all that cheap. So it is a great way to just throw a Terran off balance. So we can see right now Whitera is trying to get the Colossus out. In fact, if he can mix him into his Templar army, that is just an imposing death force. But you know what? Dragon seems to know he is getting ship weapons level 1. So I guess he does realize, hey, Colossus, you know, probably going to be coming. And he's going to try to get some Vikings of his own out on the field. Meanwhile, at the top side, an SCV constructing a rando supply depot. Not too sure why. Things are still very calm right now. Nothing serious has really occurred yet. Whitera just continuing to build up his army. 166 supply right now to 153. And we could just be watching, you know, 2 big death balls about to engage here, because neither player really has any incentive to attack at this moment. Not you know, the Terran doesn't have, he has medevacs, he could drop, but he's not choosing to. And Whitera hasn't even made a warp prison yet. So yeah, really no aggression so far. Interesting that both players here have built their supply buildings next to each other in hopes of scouting each other here with the initial supply. But Whitera sees this with this SCV in the depot, and that SCV wishes he could jump off the cliff and commit suicide before he dies to the hands of that zealot. But unfortunately, Whitera had other plans for him. And look at the, wow, that is crazy. Are you kidding me? He's even adding on Stargates right now, so he is certainly going to be looking to make some Tempests, or maybe even some carriers here, or maybe a mothership in the ultra late game. But just look at the mini-map, that centered position for Whitera. That is the Protoss homeworld right there. That's Protoss paradise Whitera has going on. And the Terran, he's got a lot of infrastructure too, but not nearly the amount that Whitera does. Of course, as a Protoss player, you typically want to have a lot of gateways. You want to have more gateways than your opponent has barracks, because with gateways you can warp them in at any moment on the field, at any point on the field, and that's what really gives them their strength. So we'll see, but neither player still hasn't really attacked yet. Looking at the upgrades tab right now, we can see it is 2-1 for the Terran, 2-3 for Whitera. So Whitera does have significant advantage here with the upgrades. Their side blades are powerful, and Dragon has to play this carefully. He has he's incorporated Hellbats into his army. And remember, guys, when a Hellbat is, well, when a Hellion is in Hellbat mode, they are considered a biological unit. In fact, if you ever look at the portrait here for the Hellbat or the Hellion, when it converts into a Hellbat, the guy like comes out of the suit and like he like transforms into part of the vehicle he's driving. So this is interesting because the medevacs can heal the Hellbats, and we'll see how effective this army composition will be against Whitera, who is, you know, he's got some charge lots with his army, and that should not be effective. I mean, the Hellbats should just absolutely laugh in the face of charge lots. So we'll see how this plays out, but you know, no siege tanks, no mech whatsoever for Dragon. It's just Marine, Marauder, Hellbat with some ghosts. This is bio to the max. Every single bio army except for the Reaper is out on the field right now. And this is going to be very interesting because I still haven't seen how Hellbats play when they're covered with medevac support as well in a serious biological army. The reason being is because Hellbats don't share the bio upgrades. You know, you can see the Marines and Marauders get +2/1. The Hellbats don't, but Dragon doesn't care. He's going in with his army. And this is just so scary, man. Whitera's like, what? Hellbats? I don't want to mess with that, but now he's going to come and try to save the Nexus. All those Zealots, oh my god, they're just dying so quickly. And to add insult to energy, Whitera storms his own Zealots, but he has a lot of Archons here. And Archons do get bonus damage against Hellbats, doing 43 or so, a shot 47 actually. And what a storm right there over the Vikings. And Whitera is going to make a hold over this Nexus, so he actually shreds through the entire Terran army there, dropping our red Terran player Dragon to 100 supply, and that was so good for Whitera. I guess Archons are all powerful and all seeing after all, because like I said, they're not only good against Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts, but they're also now good against Hellbats. So that went so well for Whitera. He shut down that entire army. He kept the Nexus alive. What more do you want from Whitera at this moment in the game? Dragon does have a 4th CC mining, but you know what? There's a mothership on the way. There's 2 more Colossus as well. We'll see if he'll be able to mount a comeback right now because he is woefully behind. 140 supply to 199. Those Hellions. And first at Hellbat mode, they're like, well, we can't deal with Archon, so we're going to switch back into car mode. But yeah, they lose a lot of HP, so that didn't work out too well for our Terran player. And Whitera right now trying to get a mothership out on the field. I'm not too sure where the core is. Looks like it's right there. And it doesn't look like he's even going to wait for the mothership to come. He's just going to go ahead and attack right now because he knows how far ahead he is. He's got to blow through these rocks first. All the Zealots charging in there. And it is a busy network right now of Protoss units trying to blast through these rocks. And at this moment in time, Dragon's got to set up his army to help defend this location. He's got a lot of ghosts. If he can get the EMPs down. Oh, EMPs coming out. EMP galore. Very nice. Now the Hellbats can start to go to work on the ramp. Those Zealots are just squeezing in there for the fire roast. And it seems like Dragon will be able to get rid of all the Zealots. But now what about the Archons? This is what gave him troubles before. Meanwhile, one Zealot from Whitera, that's so smart. You see high-level Protoss players do that when they're attacking. They send 1 or 2 Zealots to take care of the SCVs. And even if Whitera loses this entire army, at least he got some SCV kills out of it. But I gotta say, Dragon should be able to hold here, which is pretty impressive. He still hasn't microed these SCVs away, though. And that Archon underneath is just going to zap these air units to death, as they do like to clump up. And Whitera, oh my god, this Zealot has gotten so many kills already. This is hilarious. What is Dragon gonna do? He's gonna lose. This Zealot is actually going to get 20 SCV kills. Can you believe it? Unreal. And that Zealot is going for it. He's going for glory. That has got to be that's got to be instated into the Guinness Book of World Records for most kills for a Zealot against SCVs. And that now has 24 worker kills. Unbelievable. And Dragon, even though he held off that attack, he lost so many workers now that I don't even know if he can recover. He's still down 1 base to Whitera, it seems like. And finally, is he going to be able to get rid of this Zealot? Whitera now hiding it in the corner of the map, but it doesn't matter, man. Even should this Zealot die, his body, his remains, his spirit will be lifted to iron, forever be entombed and idolized for generations to come. And Whitera should definitely, you know, have a little memorial service for that guy, because he just did what every Zealot would love to do. He killed like 25 SCVs. Unbelievable. Just, that was unfathomable. And now Whitera so in control of this game. 4,000 minerals, 800 gas. The Terran really running low here, converting his Hellions into Hellbats. I like the strategy. I like the attempt here to incorporate Hellbats into a standard bio army, you know, using some of the Heart of the Storm technology here. But the problem is Hellbats don't get bio upgrades, so that means that they're kind of at a disadvantage here to the rest of the Marines and Marauders, and I think that kind of hurt Dragon. And now look at how many Archons are on the field. The amount of power in this Protoss army, it's power overwhelming. And Whitera is just going to go in and storm his way to victory. Oh my god, this is just a brutal loss here for Dragon in game 2. And the mothership, I don't even know what the hell that it just did right there. I think it just ran out of shields, so that's the effect that it gets when it goes out of shields. But beautiful game by Whitera. Excellent job. And he even got a pylon back here just warping in. Cute. How cute is that? Whitera cute. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this game. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you did, check me out on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HDStarcraft. And of course, I'll have more cats coming out for you guys. And this, for now, is HD, and I'm